First off, I wanted to say thank you for the support that you all have been giving me and this podcast. I really appreciate what we're building here. If the show is helping you, join our Patreon page. The blueprint here will get you a full technical video library plus open mat audio, real breakdowns I record after class, a more analytical look for training than what we're doing here. Again, thank you for everything. Now let's get started. Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today we're going to be discussing confidence and Jiu-Jitsu. So we come into Jiu-Jitsu for various reasons. Some of us are coming in dealing with trauma, past issues, problems with confidence, problems with decision-making. Maybe we're not in the fit crowd. We're trying to make improvements for ourselves. And one of the most common things that I think people are looking to improve is their confidence. And it was one of the biggest things that was improved in me. I am an introvert. I'm shy. I don't like being the center of attention. I tend to keep to myself. And one thing that I absolutely hated at one point was public speaking. I am a very different person in that sense. I don't necessarily worry about public speaking as much. Not that I don't get nervous beforehand. Not that I don't kind of still shy away from it. But when I have to do it, like at work or when I'm teaching or I'm doing a seminar or a workshop, it doesn't bug me as much. It's something that I don't mind doing. And in the jiu-jitsu setting, I'm more comfortable with. Again, it doesn't mean that I don't get nervous. Like if I have not done a workshop in a while or I'm doing a workshop at a new gym, I'm nervous leading up to it. I'm nervous as I drive in. I'm nervous as I meet the instructor. I'm nervous just before the class starts. I'm nervous about my first couple of words. I'm nervous about the entire thing. And so I don't want us to think that it goes away. Confidence is not the fact that we have all the answers, not the fact that we understand everything that can potentially go wrong or right. It's really about your willingness to just see what will happen. And there's this trap within jiu-jitsu where we're constantly worried about the perfect certainty or the perfect moment or the perfect time in a match to execute a technique. So much of what we do is timing based. So we are so worried about, well, if I miss the timing, he's going to pass and he's going to get into top control. And then I'm going to have to deal with that. And I'm going to have to deal with this. And then I'm going to have to try to work out of this. Stop worrying about it so much, especially at the white and blue belt level. You're just putting in reps. You're putting in time. You can't be confident 100% about everything. I'm a black belt, and there are techniques that I have been doing for 13, 14, in some cases 15 years. There are times when I'm like, is this the right time to go? And then in my bones, I feel like it is, and then I stop it. And then I just hit it the other way, or I wait for them to settle and then I do it again. And sometimes just the commitment of, I am not confident that this is going to necessarily work. They have a great base. They have great timing. They have a great way of, their reaction time is stellar. I'm just going to commit 100% to this thing. And regardless of what's happened, I'm going to respond in a way that's going to be favorable to me. So sometimes I hit this sweep from butterfly and they're able to post their leg. So then I just hit it the other way, like I said. Or when they bring the leg back in, then I hit it then. Or I wait for them to settle completely where they don't feel any tension in my body, and then I hit it. So it's hard to time, it's hard to anticipate. But the reason why these things are successful is because I'm willing to take the chance. I am willing to push the pace. It may not be the right time. It may not be the right moment. But because I'm 100% committed to that sweep, even if I fail, I'm at least in a better position. Sometimes you fail the sweep, but maybe you can get under a little deeper. Maybe they're off balance that you can then hit them with a follow-up sweep of a different kind. Their response is just as much of a reward to you as the sweep itself. Because again, I might want this sweep to get to top position, but they post. They post an arm, so now I collect the arm. So then I hit that sweep. And because I collected the arm, now I'm in an armbar position once I get to the top position. And I'm in the better situation or position than I would have been if I hit the initial sweep. But none of this happens if I don't have the willingness to at least try. And that's where really confidence comes from. There are people that come into the gym who know the bare minimum of jiu-jitsu, but they have a certain confidence in them where they don't care if they fail. They don't care where the fight goes. They're so ingrained in committing to whatever the decision-making process is that I don't care what's going to happen. I am going to push this 100%. And then they often find success in the attempt because they were committed. They were confident in the commitment. It's not confident in that it's going to work. It's not confident in that I'm going to get the submission that I want. It's solely, I am willing to push the pace and make the mistake if I need to. That's a different approach than the person who's too afraid and worried about finding the right moment and never applying it. Too afraid of speaking up during the meeting, too afraid of asking for the raise, too afraid of asking for more responsibility or asking for respect when someone said something to them that was out of line during a meeting. Be willing and confident to just see what's going to happen. And in some situation, maybe the outcome is too grave. Makes sense. Like sometimes I'm in a certain position and I'm like, dude, if I mess this up, he's going to end up in mount. And I can't have this specific person in mount. So maybe I set up something different or I wait for them to open up a window. But at some point, I got to have the confidence to just go for it. And we're going to have to weigh which ones are going to make more sense for us and which ones aren't. Again, if I want to truncate it, confidence is not a feeling. I understand that sometimes it feels that way. I'm confident I can beat the blue belt that sits across from me. But I'm more confident I'm going to take the actions necessary to do the thing that I want to do. If I am not taking any action, I'm allowing them to take the reins on the battle, the round. And as they take the reins, they're going to get deeper into positions that they like being in. I have two students that come to mind. When they get to north-south or side control, they punish me. I had a student who moved up north. When he got to mount, he punished me. They just have a really deep understanding beyond their belt of that specific position, the mount and the north-south, that when they get you there, it's a problem. And there's times when I'm rolling with them and I decide I'm going to be a little, not passive, but I'm going to be more defensive because I don't want them to get to that position. And in my passivity, they get deeper into a position that I can't defend. And then once they get to that position, they get to the one that they want. And then there's those rounds where I say, I'm going to shut all this shit down. I don't care where we're going. I don't care how hard they try. I'm shutting all that shit down. And when we have those rounds, I keep them away from the positions they want confidently. And what I mean by that is with action. And then my action becomes what people will deem, oh, he's confident in his ability. It's because I did something. I was conscious of the action that I needed to do to keep them away from the position. And it wasn't playing preventative. Preventative just takes them longer to get there. It's inaction or forms of inaction. When I play the game and I say, oh, we're not even going to sniff that position today, that whole match turns a different way. It becomes a different round for them. And then now they're on bottom the entire time, and crushing them, and I'm putting pressure on them, and I'm making work. I'm moving from position to position, and they're exhausted by the end of the round. I created actions with intent, and now it looks like, oh, it's a confident fighter. Yeah, I didn't play defensively. Doesn't mean that I don't have defensive capabilities. It's just I didn't play prevent defense when you're just trying to do enough for them not to do what they need to do. We're actively playing an offensive game to erase any possibility of them getting to that position. It changes things. I've rolled with people who are not as skillful as me, who put me in positions, and I'm just like, fuck, what is happening here? Because they're willing to try anything and commit 100% to it. It's a different level. Additionally, let's say we are concerned about our confidence. We don't think we can do something. We don't think we compete. We don't think we can do well against such and such. I don't pair people up as often anymore. I usually let them pair themselves up. They do a really good job of going with everyone they need to go with. I don't often see students ducking one another. It doesn't happen in the morning class. They may have preferences, like you may not like the way someone rolls because, and this doesn't happen very often in my opinion, at least, maybe they're a little bit rougher or they're newer and you just, I don't want to go with them. They're not as safe and as need them to be. Maybe today I'm dealing with an injury and I don't feel like dealing with that. Fair, makes sense. But for the most part, they roll with everyone. And I love to see it. I don't have to conduct the room in that sense. I don't have to force them to go with certain people. But there are moments where I might ask someone, hey, I need you to go with them. And it's intentional because I know the style that the other person is playing is counter to how they play, or it's a style that they need to get more experience in because they don't do very well with it. When that happens, or you're getting ready to compete and you're really nervous, understand that I'm putting you in a position for the sake of borrow the confidence from me if you want. I have zero concerns that you're going to get hurt in a situation. I have zero concerns that you're going to embarrass yourself. When it's in the mats or in the training room, I have the confidence in you that you're going to figure this out eventually. Maybe not today, maybe not this month, but with time, you're going to start getting better. I have the confidence in the world that that's going to happen. So borrow some of that confidence. There's a reason my coach is pairing me up with this person. The skill level is that much higher, but there's something about them that I need to learn. So I'm going to put the time in. I'm not going to play conservatively and fearfully. I'm going to play confidently in that I'm going to be willing to try things and be willing to push the pace or push the positions or push my A game to see what can happen. The same happens in competition. I've told the story of when I signed up Marco. I think he was a blue or purple belt at the time. I don't remember which. And he was doubtful of competing. He hadn't done a whole lot at the time, if I remember correctly. If I'm mistelling the story, my apologies. And I remember he was a little doubtful. He worked the front desk and I was like, all right, so I think you're going to do great. He had a temperament. He was at the gym damn near every day because he worked the front desk, and which God gave him opportunities to help with private lessons, be the uke for those, which gave him the ability to watch other people train. He was jumping into classes regularly. So he was breathing jiu-jitsu. And I'm rolling with him and seeing him roll, and I'm like, this guy would kill whatever competition I put him in. So I signed him up. I think I paid half or more than half or something. And we signed him up, and from my recollection, he was a little apprehensive, but he was starting to get excited, and he jumped in there. And the day that I met him at the competition site, he was cold. He gets into a certain frame of mind that I didn't anticipate. He's very friendly, knows your name, gives you dap when you come in, makes you feel at home like family. That day, he was a serial killer, if you will. He was not joking. He was not jovial. None of those things. And he went in there and had some great tough matches, but he got gold. And he didn't wreck everyone, but his approach and his willingness to, whether he borrowed that confidence from me and that I wanted to put him there, or that I invested in him, or that it was just ingrained in him at some point, and maybe he hadn't found it yet. I don't know. But the culmination of everything resulted in him having some hard fought matches where he had to fight out of bad positions, out of submission threats, where I can tell he was working hard and he was pushing himself beyond what I had normally seen. And he did wonderfully. Came out gold. I could not have been any prouder because he was a guy that hadn't done a whole lot of competitions. He was a little apprehensive. And now he saw that other side of him again, whether it was always in there and maybe he hadn't seen it very often, or he wasn't aware of how much jiu-jitsu he was actually soaking up being in the position that he was in, or it was because I invested in him and now he wants to make sure I don't feel like maybe I made the mistake or whatever. My idea wasn't worried about how he was going to come out of this, like in terms of my investment. It was, I want you to see what you're capable of. So that allowed him to do things that, in my opinion, I think maybe he wasn't so sure of. Maybe he was. I don't know. I'm speaking from my vantage point. So borrow from your coach, borrow from your training partners, because sometimes we think that we suck at something. And you ask the training partner, it's like, no, I have problems with you when you're in XYZ. But we're not sure of it because we're so much harder on ourselves than we need to be. But they're telling you, no, I have a problem not letting you pass. I get by the skin of my teeth when you're trying to pass. But you're not aware what they're feeling because you're in your own head. And as instructors, we have to create scenarios where safety is prevalent so that they don't feel like failure is the end of the world. I want you guys to have the kind of environment where you just lose sometimes. Today we had a bad day, quote unquote, bad day. We lost every round, quote unquote. But were we learning? Were we pushing? Were we trying? Were we experimenting? Anytime I do ecological games or whatever you want to call them, I get people up into pairs. I set up the parameters for that round. And one of the things that I commonly force myself to say, because I need to remind everyone, especially students that I don't see every day or as often, I want you to be comfortable with failure when you do this. You do not have to go 100%. And I want you to just play and experiment and try new things. Once the winner is established, whatever that parameter is for this round, get back into position. I'll have you switch at the buzzer. The hope being, I want them to just try things. We don't have to go 100% trying to kill each other. That's not beneficial, especially for us that maybe aren't competing or have never competed. But I'd want us to try this other thing. Be willing to, hey, I'm going to try to take the back from here. I don't necessarily have the requisite tools to make this happen, but I'm going to try it today. And then you feel more comfortable with that failure and comfortable trying things. And then you realize your training partners don't give a fuck. They don't care. They're not judging you for the mistakes you made, even though at one point you may have felt that way. I, as an instructor, I love when I look over and I see someone trying something new, trying something that I know is not part of their game, or they're trying something that I had taught that class. That's the big test. When I see someone who's, the other day, weird, I taught helicopter choke, the most random choke that you'd never see ever. And I taught it. I don't teach it very often, but when I teach it, it takes a little bit more time because it causes you to fall and you have to throw the leg over. It's a little complex. And one of my blue belts hit it in sparring against one of the white belts. And it was not something that I had on the bingo card for someone to hit that same day, but it was impressive. He didn't fear missing it, maybe falling on his face or missing it and being in a bad position or missing it and just looking a little silly because you can miss your point of center of gravity and you can eat it. We didn't have any concerns. And that's really the environment that we need to create as instructors and owners of gyms, where your people just try shit out. Have the confidence to say, this may not go well. I may miss the position. I may fall on my face. I may be in the bottom of mount, maybe bottom of side, and I might get crushed for the rest of the round. But I'm going to try this. Because what happens if you actually do hit it? And then maybe this becomes your thing. Enjoy what you're doing. Try the shit that you want to try. Be experimental. Fail. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Find out why you failed and try it all over again. Confidence is not specifically built on the idea that I know I'm going to hit this. At black belt, this becomes more prevalent, but there's techniques that are part of my A game that I have a deep understanding for. But certain people, I know that they're not going to necessarily go over well, and I'm going to miss something, or I'm going to get reversed. I try it anyway. Collecting data on everyone. I want to know what level can I hit this on, and where do I need to shore up some details that maybe I'm missing. They work on everyone up to brown, or they work on everyone except this one black belt, or they work on everyone but this odd white belt who used to do wrestling or whatever. Like, be willing to try. And I don't mean just on the mats. I want you guys to try whatever it is that interests you. Have the blessing of your families. I don't want you to like quit your jobs and shit, but try. I am 45. I didn't think I was ever going to do a podcast. I had toyed with the idea during COVID because I had very little to do with Jiu-Jitsu. We're shut in. I'm not going to class. Work was completely remote. And I have all this time and I'm debating, well, maybe I should do a podcast. The idea of speaking was alien to me. Why would anyone listen? Why do I want to sit here and do this? I'm going to make a fool of myself. I'm older. Like, why? And it wasn't until last April that I pulled the trigger and I said, I'm just going to do it. And it's been beneficial for me. And beyond like total downloads and reach and all that, and those feel good to see growing every month. The growth behind finding ways to express myself and getting the mileage in the practice has been hugely beneficial. It helps how I communicate with the people around me. It helps me how I communicate during my workshops, my classes, how I communicate at work when I have to present ideas or problems or solutions, how I communicate with during stressful situations. This has helped me quite a bit. But if I didn't have, quote unquote, the confidence or the willingness to at least try it, where would I be? Same with teaching. There's going to be a lot of us who fear public speaking. I was one of those people. Here I am teaching classes at 3 different gyms, looking to do more. I would love to travel and do seminars and workshops. That's my end goal. I have a lofty goal of being sponsored by Tatami. That's one of my goals. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but that's the goal. So I have these lofty goals that I'm willing to aspire to, go to, and potentially fail and be okay with it. So if there's anything that you guys are trying to do professionally, on the mats, socially, put a plan together and attempt it. Go out there. If there's a business you want to try to run, if there's a new endeavor that you want to try to pursue, try it. Be willing. If there's any questions on this or anything else, please hit me up. dfm.2099 on Instagram and Threads. We also have a Patreon page, some free content on there. My technique library is on there. It gets updated weekly, anywhere from 6 to 9, sometimes 12 techniques a week. I have exclusive podcast episodes that go only on there that are driven by community questions, comments, topics. I try to make it more engaging and selective towards those subscribers, so it's a little bit more intimate. And we also have direct coaching if you want to maybe get some remote coaching from me. video reviews. I do all of that. Really, my goal is to help as many people as possible. So if you'd like to work with me, let me know. Until next time, thank you so much.